Hello, it's Maryon Stewart this morning, and I wanted to come on and talk to you a bit about life, I suppose. I am away at the moment. You can see in the background these lovely mountains in France, and so it's giving me time to stand back and reflect about things that are going on in my life, things I'm involved with, and looking at how we can make life better, because I really believe that we have the power to do that. And I'm thinking about my own life, and for many of you who come into the group think, oh, here she is looking like she's never had any problems in her life and everything's fine, and how can she talk to us about suffering? How can she possibly understand our suffering, because she hasn't been through this? And whilst I haven't, I must say, my menopause was relatively smooth, but that was because I knew how to manage it. I have had a great deal of difficulty in my life, and there have been times when it's been tricky, and I've experienced a lot of the feelings that you feel, and I've had to try and manage, and luckily, because I've had tools, I suppose I've been able to put some of those into practice over time. So I wanted to share a little bit about my life. I can tell you lots more over time, but just that I was married happily for 24 years. We had some problems and differences of opinion, but the main thing was our Sorry, I think that there was a break in the communication. I don't think I've got great signal here. So our house was on the riverbank in Lewis, and we had 8 feet of water in it, and eventually, long story, had to be demolished. So we were displaced, I suppose, and there was a great big hoo-ha amongst the neighbours because it was in a conservation area, and we had a 3-year legal battle, and it really took its toll on my husband, our family, and eventually we split up. I took my 2 youngest children to live somewhere else, and just to be in a kind of peaceful, safe environment. And it was hard because I was looking after them. One was 11, one was 15. I was on my own. I was trying to be self-sufficient and being everything for them too. And then eventually, as many of you know, my 21-year-old daughter was given a legal high and she died. And that was just beyond horrendous. You can't even begin to imagine. And I was on my own too. I wasn't with anybody at that particular time. So I had to deal with all of that. And there's been all sorts of other things that have happened in my life, but I feel that over the years I've collected tools together to help my patients. And some of those tools have helped me, particularly the visioning tools that help me to create a vision of a life that I wanted, so that I could try and work my way out of whichever dark hole I was in to this light place. So I always dreamed, for example, of living on a beach. I dreamed of having a tall, dark, handsome man as my partner, somebody who adored me, because I hadn't really had that in my life before. And I dreamed of life being great, and every day I got up, it was a new adventure. But the place I was in was so different from that. It was full of stress, and I was troubled because of obviously my divorce, my bereavement, my campaign I then went on to do to raise awareness about legal highs, which was hard. It was very hard to actually get out of bed every day, you know, and appear on TV talking about the death of my daughter, and go to all these high-powered meetings at the House of Commons and the House of Lords. It was difficult, but I drove myself to do that because I suppose the thing that really drives me is I like to make conditions better. That's why I set up the advisory service in the first place, to help women with PMS, because I couldn't bear seeing them being suicidal, violent, aggressive, and all the things that go with PMS. And so I wanted to help them to get into a better place. And the same thing has happened with the menopause, obviously, over time, and the research has come, and I really feel that I've got the tools and I want to help women. So helping myself isn't always easy. In fact, I find it much easier to help other people than I do help myself. But to really trust that things are going to get better. To really believe that you can get from one place to another is so, so important. And so there are tools that you can use, and maybe it'll be good for you too to just take a great big piece of blank cartridge paper and find images of the life you love. Cut them out of magazines, cut slogans, cut pictures, and pin it all down, and then dream every day. I used to dream I was walking on the beach with this tall, dark, handsome man. It took me 10 years to find him, but when I found him, he looked just like the person in my vision board. And for 6 months, I could hardly believe I found him. I now live the life of my dreams. I spend half my time in Florida. We come and go, and I spend time with my kids. I've got lots of energy. Fortunately, I have 3 other kids. I've got 2 little grandchildren now, and I've got a lot going for me in life. And I know I've got lots and lots of energy and lots of potential to help other people. And I've come to specialize, I suppose, in helping people to turn their lives around. And I just think that's a really special ability, and I'm very humbled and proud to have that. And so I want you to use it and use my wisdom and ask me questions that you need to ask me. Come and join me on my boot camp. Just come and plug in to the knowledge, because not only can I take you through the menopause and out the other side again so that you feel well and that you know how to look after yourself in the long term, but I can also help you to turn your life around. I can help to turn the negative into positive. There are tons and tons of tools. And I can tell you more about how I did it for myself. I can tell you about how I dug myself out of those dark places and what kept me going, because I think it's so important to understand that you can raise yourself, no matter how bad you feel, no matter how difficult it seems, no matter how bleak your situation is, that there is a way of trusting so that you can raise yourself out. And I don't mean in a religious way. I really don't. I just mean that you can have the faith in yourself, and also in the fact that, you know, a good person deserves a good outcome. And if you've got the right tools, you can actually get that. And there's tons of medical research to show that that's possible. So I just want to help you to go from the dark place you're in to a much lighter place. And I'm here, living proof, to show you that that is possible. So let's bring it on. Do you know, this is a group, we've got about 7,500 members now. I want you to know that you are in the right place and that you can get help to overcome whatever the problems you've got currently in your life, to be in a better place so that you can literally turn the page, go on to the next chapter and really embrace your life and really enjoy it. This is not the dress rehearsal. This is real life, and you need to actually grasp this opportunity to get yourself into a really good place. So I'm going to go off and get on with the next bit of my day, but I just wanted you to know that, and I'm very pleased to be able to offer you this opportunity.